Hey, it's Kenny Keller with Helicopter Land Ground School. This is an off-the-cuff video. This week we've been answering member questions, and this today is about the FAA written test, okay? We get tons of questions, and that's fine, right? Because the written test practice and the written test itself is kind of a big deal, right? You put time, money, energy, effort into it. So, of course, people have questions about the FAA written test. So, Brian Rutledge is our full-time operations manager, been with us now full-time 3 weeks. He's taking a lot of phone calls and a lot of questions, talking about training, flight and ground both. And he compiled a list of 3 top things that people are asking. And he said he's got some more he's going to send me. So the number 3 question from Brian is, can I do the written test before starting actual flight lessons? Okay. So that's the one that came from Brian, and Heather added of her 3 main questions she's getting from people. Do we offer endorsements for the written test upon completion of our ground school course? Okay, so I'm going to cover both of those real quick and tell you about some other resources we have that are free. I'll put the links down below. I've done 5 videos just in a quick search in the very recent past on written test. And 2 of these were just in the last couple months. But that's okay. A lot of people have questions, so I get it. So those free resources, free videos will be down below if you want to dive in deep. But to quickly answer, can I do the written test before starting flight lessons? You certainly could, but you're going to need an instructor to sign you off to take the written test, which goes to Heather's question. Do we offer endorsements for the written test upon completion of our ground school courses? We currently do not issue you specifically an endorsement. However, you can download from our written test practice, you can download a certificate that you completed the course. And then it's also available for FAA Wings credit. So back to the before starting flight lessons, you could certainly do it. I think for the most effective time and money for you is to start doing lessons, start doing ground school, start working on the written test. And ultimately, we say if you have it done prior to solo, that's great. You could certainly do it before starting flight training if you chose to do it. The thing about learning the ground knowledge is it always goes best hand in hand with flight training because you're learning concepts and then you're getting in the helicopter to cement those ideas or help you understand that knowledge. But you can certainly do as much training before lessons as you want. We have ground school members that have taken the training and taken it way beyond what we intended it to do. It was designed to do everything together. But we have members, well, and I'll put a couple of those links down below too. We have members that have showed up at their flight school with impressive knowledge and blew their instructor away on their first lesson because they'd been studying with Helicopter Land Ground School. And these members sent these testimonials in. I didn't solicit those. They send them in, right? Our biggest of all time, Johan, who showed up at his flight school in Florida, and the instructor emailed me and said, this young man showed up and his ground is basically done. All we got to do is fly. That's Johan. Star student, great story. I'll put that link down below. So that's my opinion. Can you do the written before starting flight lessons? You certainly could. I think it's most effective to wait till you get into the studying and the flying, but you could certainly do that just like you could certainly start learning the ground school before flying. You can, if that's the choice that you pick, you can do it. So the other written test questions I just talked about, or written test videos, I just did these just in the recent past. I'll put all the links down below. And the first one is FAA written test HOGS member questions. That's down below. I'll put that at the top. 16 minutes I talk about the written test. And I give feedback from a Helicopter Land Ground School member who just went through his written test. He emailed me for advice on the written test. I gave him my advice on how to prepare. After he passed, he was happy, and he sent me an email, and I cover it in that 16-minute video. He's up on the Helicopter Online Ground School Wall of Fame, which is behind me. Our members won't steer you wrong, okay? Our members are people just like you who have been through the training, and when they're excited when they pass their check ride, they send us a picture. That's the Helicopter Online Ground School Wall of Fame. There's like 137 pictures up there right now, okay? They won't steer you wrong. I go deep, 16 minutes worth in dissecting what he said about his experience. And he even said the process kind of sucked with some of the new changes. But we go into detail in that link below. HOGS FAA written test certificates and what we endorse and what we do not. That'll be the next video down below. Written test the FAA written test can delay flight training process if you delay too long on the written test. That's down below. I talk about that. FAA written test practice with certificate and wings credit inside HOGS membership. I'll put that down below. And then here's a good one for the CFI written test. We did a debrief. Certified Flight Instructor FOI written test debrief. That video is down below as well. So there's 5 different videos kind of going in different directions on the written test. It does take a lot of time and effort and money, and you got to put a lot of thought into it. So rather than try to cover all that, there's some resources for you right there. And I'm going to roll a video right now that shows you how it works inside our course. Let me roll that. It's only going to take about a minute or two, and then we'll be right back. So let's roll that. Hey, I just want to show you real quick how this works for going through this practice test. Now, this is for just your own practice. This is not for wings, and that's what it says right there. So you can take this just for practice, and then you can download a certificate showing what you scored, and you can actually look at what you did. So I just ran through one real quick, and I got 86%. Showed when I started it, when I finished it, because I actually was using it over a few days, making some videos. And we were playing some helicopter trivia on YouTube. So here's what's cool. You can see what you scored. Download a certificate if it's just for whatever reason you just wanted to prove to your instructor that you had took a practice written test. Again, not for wings. But it's pretty cool. You can download the certificate. I did that. I'll open it up and show it to you. So there it is. Kind of cool. Let's go back and show you something else. So you can go down here and you can view every single question, what it was, see what you got right, see what the correct answer is for the ones that you got wrong. You can look at the whole entire thing, and then if you want to, you can actually print it. You can print right here, print this page. I put it down to about, in the settings, about 6 questions per page, 10 sheets. I had my whole 100 questions to take a look at. So it really is kind of cool that you can go in, test your knowledge, download a certificate if you like. Again, this is just for your own purposes. And then you can go through and view every single question and figure out what you got right and what you got wrong. Pretty cool. Okay, that short video, I just sat down at the computer and I was kind of impressed going through it. I took a written test. We just showed you real quick how you can view the certificate, how you can view the answers, and how you can even download that if you like. So that is a really nice resource that we have, that we provided for Helicopter Land Ground School members, is our written test practice. So again, that written test practice is available for all members of all levels, private, commercial, instrument, and CFI. Each one has an associated written test. You can practice as many times as you want. You can download a certificate that you've completed that, and then your instructor can give you an endorsement that says you've completed a home study course for a written test for that rating. Very cool, right? So not only can you practice as many times as you like, you can also take the same test for FAA wings credit. After passing with 70 or higher, we have a computer up there that reports your test score to the FAA. Trick is, you have to have the email for your Helicopter Land Ground School membership has to match the same email that you have used to set up your FAA wings course. So if you have that done, boom, you pass with 70% or higher underneath the wings written test practice. That goes from our computer, shoots it to the FAA. It usually takes a couple days. So people email us often, say, hey, I took the written test yesterday and it's not in my, for the FAA wings, the credit's not in my site. We tell them it takes 2 to 3 days sometimes for it to show up in the wings site. So if you take the FAA wings practice test, make sure you give it a few days for it to show up in the wings site. Over the weekend, I wasn't here and the computer wasn't on. I had a guy email and he's like, hey, I haven't seen my wings credit yet. And I'm like, I just turned the computer on today, let it freshen up. It reports to the FAA and then takes a few days. At the even the notice of the FAA says, hey, it can take a few days after completing a course for it to show up in or under your email for your FAA wings credit. So lots of resources there for you on the FAA written test preparation. Brian, our operations manager, is going to be taking a look at those questions, looking for any updates, anything that we need to update in that site. But we have a description and a video within the site for each one of those that tells you exactly how to take the written test, which I've covered a little bit of that, showed you a video. It's all in there. So make sure, like taking any test, if you use our FAA written test practice, make sure you watch the video and make sure you watch the description on how to take the written test to properly get through it and properly get your FAA Wings credit. And this is good advice. To be a good test taker, you need to always read everything, the information about that written test you're getting ready to take, whether you're doing an FAA test or any kind of test. Same thing with the testing inside our site. Make sure you read the video and you read the description on how to properly do it so that you can properly score, download, and get your FAA Wings credit. So it's awesome stuff. I'm going to throw out a couple more free resources. Down below, we have links for our top 10 check ride tips, Amazon #1 bestseller, our helicopter check ride #1 bestseller, and our free radio course. Those links will also be down below. And I want to start promoting our podcast. We've had a podcast for years. I've never been big on promoting it. I'm going to put that link down below too. A lot of people loved our Coffee with Kenny video series. Those are coming out every day as a new podcast, and Heather has it up to, I think, 130 episodes. Every single day a new episode comes out, the audio file from that video series. And a lot of people like a video or like a podcast, right? They like to listen to audio. So that link's going to go down below. So there's a whole ton of free resources for you, some ideas on moving forward with your FAA written test, a bunch of free resources down below. Subscribe to the channel, click the bell when you do so you'll be notified of our videos. We put out videos on all kinds of stuff. We're always giving away free content, running specials, doing all kinds of stuff. So make sure you subscribe, click the bell so you can be notified of that. And we shall see you in the next video. Peace out.